G'day guys, Andrew from Aus Evo here. So where to start? Basically, car developed a pretty massive miss. Running up a few of the mountain passes, coming up out of Canberra Valley, it was almost undrivable at high revs. Seemed to kind of get pretty bad around the 5,000-6,000 RPM mark, and it was just missing completely. There was basically no power. Running a link ECU, so a lot of protections there. So I don't think any damage was done. Pulled the plugs, had a look. No kind of discernible damage to the plugs, but no power. So started investigating where the power was going. Assumed I had a bad coil, so ended up replacing my set of coils with some Bosch coils that you might have seen on an earlier post I put up on the page. Didn't actually have the desired effect. The actual miss did clean up a lot, but it was still a staggered miss at high RPMs. So then kind of went down the route of thinking, where's the power going? Well, how much power am I getting to those coils? With John Hadley, who's good with electricity, we did some investigations, found out that the alternator was supplying heaps of voltage, but there was a loss of voltage in the whole system. Now I could see that logged via the link ECU. Was doing some runs, having some voltage drop off. Now that's to the ECU, not to the coils. Don't know what the coils were getting, but the ECU was dropping down to, well, the ECU volts were dropping down to almost 12 volts at 7,000 RPM, 12.09. I saw it 7,500 RPM. So massive drop in voltage. I think it should be running around 14, bit over 14. So it's 15% drop in voltage to the ECU, and possibly a greater drop than that to the coils. A little bit more testing done, putting probes into the connectors on the coils, revving the motor up. I've actually linked up some photos, but basically losing between 400 and 800 milliamps to the ECU at 4,000 RPM, and probably a volt to the coils. So the coil voltage at 4,000 RPM was dropping from 14.06 down to 13, just over 13. So not real good. So don't know where the power's going. I'm not too sure what's happening there, whether it's just the age of the wiring or the draw of the stuff I've got in the car. I'm running double Warbra 460s, running a pretty big head unit, which actually has a dedicated power source. So I'm not too sure if that's the issue. All those are run off dedicated power straight to the top of the battery terminal on the positive. Checked all my grounds, cleaned everything up there, made sure I had good grounds, cleaned paint off of panels to make sure there's good connections for the grounds there. None of that made any difference at all. Kept running a few logs just to check on different things. Ended up actually throwing a set of coils in from John O'Hadley's car, which I've still got here somewhere. I've got to take them back tomorrow. That actually cleaned up the miss, doing good power pulls, watt runs through to that 7,500 RPM with quite a clean pull, no missing or anything, but voltage was still dropping down, so still losing the voltage to both the ECU and I'm assuming to the coils. So what I've gone with is one of these setups. Now this is from Alex, one of the other admins on the page. He runs a business called Canberra Evo Works. It's a dedicated harness for the coils. So basically it bypasses the ECU, uses the ECU to control the spark, but gets dedicated power straight from the top of the battery. Works a treat. Just plugged it in then. Haven't actually done any runs in it, so I've put my original coils in, my old coils, my new Bosch coils, which were missing a little bit. They were the ones who were dragging the voltage down to around that 12.1 volts. I haven't run it up to those kind of high RPMs yet because I won't get a chance to do that till probably Friday. So, but at this stage, it's looking pretty good. I've linked again some photos showing the ECU volts is maintaining 13.96. So it's giving me roughly 600 milliamps of voltage back to my ECU, which can only be good. And the coil voltage has gone up at 4,000 RPM from 13.2 to 1409.09. So all the power's back basically. So pretty happy with that. The actual setup itself is quite well done. I gotta say, Alex knows how to put a harness together. Lots of protection, runs dedicated power and dedicated earth power there. Sorry, this is a bit rudimentary, this video, because I'm doing it myself because my video man has run off for Halloween. Anyway, so yeah, so pretty happy with this. This is a really good idea. It basically removes the high voltage draw of the coils from the system, so they work independently of the ECU as far as where the power comes from. A lot less strain on the electrical components in the car. Yeah, great idea. Well implemented by Alex. So definitely, if you want to kind of beef up your electrical system, and that's both the coils and the actual ECU volts and all the other components of the car that run off the ECU, because definitely there's a definite drawdown on the ECU volts when the coils are at high RPMs. I don't know if that is for every car, but certainly wasn't my case. Yeah, get in contact with Alex via the page or via his own Canberra Evo Works page on Facebook. Have a look at this, really good idea. Okay, so there'll be another video further down the track. I've got to do some more testing when I get a chance to get that car out on the road and do some high RPM stuff, but at this point it's looking pretty promising. Pretty happy that I'm getting on top of the issue. Anyway, that's it. Thanks guys. Talk to you later. Bye.